Hello matey. We're gonna have some workers in today, so I just know I'm gonna get interrupted today. But let's try and get this video in before they come into my house and interrupt me. What is that sound outside? I'm so sick and tired of how blurry my videos are. I need to get some advice on this because I cannot tolerate it anymore. Why is it so blurry? If you watch it on the television, it's just going to be a mythology. There's no such thing. You'd be like, yeah, I can't watch this on a TV, mate. It's too blurry. Go watch it on the little small phone for it to be possible. If I were a boy, then I wouldn't be a girl. I'd have a penis, not a vagina. I don't know why I always sing that song all the time. It's so boring in my head and I keep doing it. Right, why should you stand up for yourself? I want to influence that part of your brain that stands up for yourself. I want to make you a superhuman. No, wait, a superhero. Actually, technically they're the same thing. Superhero, superhuman, you're going to become one. I want to make you one. Does that imply that I am one myself? Maybe, I don't know. I don't know what I am. I wish I knew what I was, but I have confidence that I can make you into a superhuman, into a superhero, where you just save the day, save people. I have the confidence that you could do that. I can do that. I think we're all superheroes, we just don't know it. So I'm gonna influence you to self-love yourself and to support everybody and support yourself because it's like really, really important. So I keep mentioning every week that my therapist is like really helping me, and I'm so used to like trying to make things work for everybody. Like, okay, how do we make this work for all people? It's not just about me, it's about all of us. And she's teaching me, which I don't know if this is 100% right or not, but she's teaching me to look after myself. Like, she's like, no, Nayna, we're going to love you, Nayna. Yeah, not everybody, you. So how are we going to help you? How are we going to make life better for you? And she's really like putting the what do you call that thing? The torch on to me. And I think it's because I have a bad habit, right? When things become like really bad in my life, I want to end my life, and that's my bad toxic trait. I won't say it's toxic, I would just say it's like the way that I don't know. My brain is very confused at the moment, but I have this thing like where things start to go bad, I want to die, and she is helping me to get through that. So last week, like I said, I had a really bad week and she wanted to like recall like what had triggered it, and I could not remember what had triggered it, and then we was there for like 10 minutes trying to figure out what had triggered it, and then it was like bing, I know what triggered it. The Hoover, the cleaning of my house. I hate cleaning this house. I live in a 3-story house. There's 3 floors. I have to clean a whole entire thing. And then she was like, oh, that's a little bit unfair. Why do you have to clean the whole thing? And I explained to her, well, my mum is of age. It's not really fair that she hoovers the house. And then she says, okay, well, tell me, why do you hate your hoover so much? And I said, because it keeps falling. It pinches me all the time. And she's like, so you're telling me that you're an autistic person and you have to hoover your house with a hoover that pinches you and that keeps falling all the time. What do you think this does to you? And so then, okay, she didn't say it like that, but you know, she was trying to make me see that it's a very unfair process for somebody who has my type of brain to have to go through hoovering the house with such an unstable hoover. So she started suggesting things to me. Okay, you're gonna have to speak to your mum. Is there a way that you can get a new hoover? Is there a way that you can employ a cleaner to just come and do the hoovering? Because obviously it's too much for you. And I was saying to her, no, because you know, my mum's gonna look at me like I'm weak and she's gonna be like, oh, come on, it's only hoovering, like just get on with it. And she's like, okay. But we've spoken about that other people's opinions have to come second to my mental health and my sanity and my happiness. And if somebody looks at me as if I'm weak because I can't complete this the way that they can, it doesn't mean that I'm weak. It just means that I need it to be different. Anyways, she's really helping me to see that I have the right to make life comfortable and work for me. This hoover doesn't work for me. This cleaning schedule doesn't work for me. This house doesn't work for me. And though I'm forced to live in this house, it doesn't work for me. So how can I make it work for me? And I said to her that I made a video last week about like this whole suicide thing. And I said to her that if I was thriving, I wouldn't want to die. And she said, you're right, but also what we're missing is that music is easy for you. So you're talking about something that's fun for you, it's easy for you. So what about the hard things in life? Oh no, they have arrived. I don't want them to be here. They're going to make noise upstairs. Oh, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Let's see if he starts to make noise up there. I don't remember what I was saying, but I was just concluding that my therapist is really helping me to see how important it is to look after myself. So let's get on with the subject, shall we? So I have a neighbor that infuriates me. I don't know why it's all of them that live there, because my parking space is right next to my house and their parking space is inside of their drive, and every time they get visitors, they allow the visitor to park right behind their car, which then blocks my car from being able to leave freely. So I have said to all of them, and one of them, he listened and he stopped doing it. The other one didn't listen and she carried on doing it. And then the owner of the house allows people to just carry on doing it. And this infuriates me. Infuriates me. I think because like I would never do that to somebody. I'd never block your car. Like, I have too much anxiety for that. Like, I'm not gonna block your car. He's walking up the stairs. And also, I'm not gonna like park where like my car is not allowed to be parked. Like, you have parking spaces. I'm going to park my car in a parking space. I'm not just gonna park it anywhere that I'm not allowed to park my car. So I have all of these considerations that I have as a person, and these people, they don't have those considerations, and I have asked them to stop doing it and they haven't stopped doing it. So it's something that's like really infuriating me. And so then I was sitting there thinking, what would my therapist advise me to do? Because this stuff like destroys me. Like, why am I alive in this world? People who do stuff like that. So then it infuriates me. So then I'm like, Nayna, calm down, let's not get into a rut again. What would your therapist say to you? And she'd be like, well, Nayna, you have a right to fix the problem, because your brain, it does get very stressed out, and maybe a lot of people get stressed out under that circumstance, but specifically your brain would get very stressed out, and so then you're gonna have to speak to them. So you're gonna have to speak to the owner, which I've never done. I've always spoken to her children, but I've never spoken to her. Like, can you please, as the owner of this house, make sure that this doesn't happen? Because what happens to me is that I feel this way, and it's really not healthy for my mental health, for me to feel this way. So I'm asking you please to stop doing that, so then I'm not affected in a negative way with the actions of your household. Like, can you please do that? And then if she doesn't then listen, the head of the house doesn't then listen, then I can then go to the council and complain to the council, can you please get involved because they're not listening to me? So then I have to do something about it, instead of just being angry or wanting like a meteor to like hit their car and just like break the whole entire house and all of their existences. Like, this anger that comes over me, instead of all of that, just do the right things. Ask for it to change. Ask for it to be fair. Do all of the steps to make the change, rather than being angry and staying angry and not doing that. And you know, there's so much peace in getting what you want and getting a fairness done to you. Because every time I imagine that I've spoken to her already, she understands, she's never gonna let it happen again. Like, I'm so sorry, I didn't know that you felt this way. So then I never have to go through that anger ever again, or that anxiety or that frustration that somebody's blocked my car. I have to knock on your door, I'll wait for you to move your car. I never have to go through that again, because now you respect me, and now I could live in peace, knowing that I could always get in and out of my drive without any problems, and that peace of like, oh, the obstacle's over. I don't need to have that obstacle anymore. It feels like so good to get something that you want, and to be at peace, and to be treated fairly. It just feels like so, like, oh, I could relax. Or like just the thought of leaving this whole entire neighborhood and never coming back, and living in the middle of nowhere where nobody could ever disturb me ever again. It's like, I'll just be at peace, and now I could finally relax because nobody could block my car or my drive anymore, and I don't need to deal with selfish people anymore. I could just be alone in the middle of nowhere. Like, this peace of being free from obstacles and unfair challenges feels really good. And this is the slow progress that I was talking about in one of my other videos, that life is helping, but it's helping in such a slow way, because the light workers came along and they were like, right, these people, they're not dealing with life very well. It's a bit unfair that we're forcing them to deal with life in the same way as all other humans. So they started to put things in place where people with autism, people with ADHD, or people who are disabled get treated nicer, even though they still get discriminated against and it's still a thing. But these light workers, they're starting to stick up for people and say, no, this is unfair, they need more support, they need this. And that's what I'm realizing now, that I'm getting so much more support because of this autism work, a word, and because of how my brain functions. I'm getting this like love or this support of like, yes, Nayna, life doesn't have to be hard for you. Let's make life easier for you. It must be so difficult to be you. And it's like, yes, it is. And so then this support is being introduced But the reality is that we all deserve that support. Every single human deserves that support. Do you feel peace? Do you feel like life is working for you? Do you feel supported? And if you don't, we have to change that, because you deserve to feel that way. So the support I'm receiving now, the whole world deserves that. And I think it's catching up to everybody's brains at this point in 2023, where I think that we're waking up to that fact that we all deserve to be treated good, or to just be given peaceful as a default. Without my therapist, would I be at peace? Because I was having the biggest anxiety. Like the other day I came home and she had somebody there parked, so then I couldn't park my car, and I knocked on her door with this anger. I was ready to like just burst, but because they were so apologetic, like, oh, I'm so sorry, like it proper cooled down my anger, and she saw all over my face that I was angry, and I didn't even say nothing. I just said, your car. So she understood, and I had the biggest anxiety that I showed her that anger. And if it wasn't for my therapist, I would be like, oh gosh, I should have done better. Why was I angry, Nayna? It's only a car. Like, why are you so angry all the time? And then my therapist would explain that to me. Well, Nayna, you're angry because your brain works differently, and you don't know how to stay calm, and actually it's just to add distress into your suicidal problems. And so then she'll explain to me why I struggle and why I deserve to have peace. And so then I feel like we all need that. We need support to kind of say, well, you don't deserve to be treated badly. You deserve to be at peace when you're at work. If you stick up for yourself and you want something to change and then somebody treats you badly for it, that's wrong. And if you have people supporting you, then you feel like it's okay for you to ask and stand up for yourself. And I was thinking about my voice and how like my voice was so unique. And at first, people around me really didn't like my voice, and they made it very known that they didn't like my voice. So I was alone in believing that I had a beautiful voice. And then eventually I started molding my voice, and now a lot of people think that my voice is beautiful, but now I'm scarred with an insecurity that, you know, is my voice like super ugly, or is my voice like beautiful? Like, I don't know. And if the people around me had been with me, then I would have so much more courage. So then when people was like, oh Nayna, you have an ugly voice, I would have understood, oh no, that's your taste, because I see the evidence around me that people believe in my voice, and they love that uniqueness, and they stick up for me. People around me will be like, are you deaf? Her voice is beautiful. Why would you call that ugly? It's beautiful. So they will have this support to make me stronger in my beliefs, and I had to obviously do it the hard way. I had to fight alone for my voice. But if you have that support, what I'm saying is then it becomes easier for you to believe in what you're saying, and you get encouraged to stand up for yourself and to stand up for the things that are fair. And unfortunately, I think it's happening like a lot in workplaces, that people are starting to stand up for themselves and then they end up getting fired, or, you know, people are starting to demand things to be fair and they're getting cut off. So I don't know who these people are that are in charge, like, because if my team complained, I would want to fix the problem. I wouldn't fire them. So I don't know who these leaders are that are in place. I don't know what they're thinking. But I do know that it has come to a time where we have to change the world. Things have to be fair. So you do have to get fired. If that's what it takes, then get fired. Leave that place. Don't stay there because you need the money. Stand up for your rights. Speak your truth. Get as much support as you can so you don't feel dread and anxiety every day, which that's a side effect of standing up for yourself if you don't have enough support. And if need be, leave. Run as far as you can from the people who cause you pain. And I'm just trying to understand here, like, why do the people who cause harm, like, why do I have to stand up to people? Why does my neighbor do that? Like, why? What? I don't want to do that to people. Why are you doing that to me? Like, what is that? So let me take a moment here to try to understand it. I don't know why, but the chemistry of my life has gotten me to where I am today. But I'm sure that other people had similar upbringings and it didn't equal to the same equation. So I'm not sure why, but the fact that I went through a lot of bullying, a lot of racism when I came into this country, it made me like really appreciate peace. And it made me feel like really bad for people who don't feel peace. So then I make sure that I don't ever want to cause people to feel anxiety or fear, because I know how it feels like. So let me not do that to anybody. So I really value peace and harmony, right? Because of what I went through. But my next door neighbors, they would have been going through similar things. They would have had bullying against them. So why didn't they become like me, like super attentive to other people's anxiety and fears and needs, right? So I don't know what happened different with me, but I can see what happened wrong with them, which was that they don't have it in them to care about other people or people that are not their relatives. So like your colleagues, you don't really care for each other the way that you care for your children or your mom or your sisters. Like you don't care for them the same. And if you did, you wouldn't cause them harm. Unless you would cause your family harm, then that just makes you even more broken. But you don't care for those people the same, and you're not taught to care for them the same. Even though in religion it teaches you that you should love your neighbor, so shouldn't you know to love your neighbor? But you don't. You know you want to because the Bible tells you to, but you don't love your neighbor. Otherwise you wouldn't, especially after I've told you to stop doing it, you wouldn't carry on doing it if you're religious and you're supposed to love your neighbor. So we're not taught to love and respect each other and to be attentive to a stranger's needs. We're not taught that. And especially if you've been treated badly that way, why would you then give that to people? You've not been shown that type of grace or love yourself. So why would you then know how to give it to other people? And maybe the fact that I had like teachers in school who absolutely loved me and they showed me this like love, maybe that was the difference in chemistry. And maybe my next door neighbors didn't have those teachers that showed me love, and that love that they showed me gave me this peace of like, oh, I'm safe somewhere. And maybe they weren't safe anywhere. So I don't know. So we're not loving each other. We're not taking care of each other, the strangers. And when you stick up for yourself, a lot of people get angry about that. So the last job that I had, I stuck up for myself, I stuck up for my whole team, and they hated me for it. I became the enemy of the directors, of the leadership. I became their enemy because I would not stand for unfair treatment, and they were being unfair to most of their team. The hierarchy thing was really a thing. And could I have done that differently? It's very hard to do that differently when you're angry, but yes, I could have been a little bit more gentle. But to be honest, those people, they wouldn't, even if I was gentle, they didn't have enough kindness in their heart. Like they're really not interested in loving the stranger or the co-worker, not at all. It's my way, I have the vision, I'm the boss. No, Nayna, you don't get to make decisions here because I'm the boss. So even though you're being gentle and kind with your words, no, you may not get what you're asking for. There was a gentle way of somebody saying to me like, oh Nayna, that was a bit harsh of you. You said it to me in a way that I heard it. I didn't feel embarrassed. I didn't feel angry that you made me a bad person, because you didn't make me a bad person. You just made me aware of how I made somebody feel. And I was like, oh. So then I'd go home and I'd be like, I don't want to do that again, because that's not who I want to be. So, and the people at work, they don't care that way. So they believe that that person's a bad person. They don't deserve my love and care. That person's a bad person. You don't deserve my love and care. And I don't have that in me. Everybody deserves my love and care. Everybody. So I guess to like stand up for yourself in this day and age does take courage. It does take a little bit of stress. But once it's done, it feels so good. And once it's done, you set the trend for others. You set the example for others. So we have to do that. We have to stand up and set the example for everybody, including yourself. And then in 20 years' time, this type of behavior will be a thing of the past. So let's close this conversation. So like I was saying about my therapist, she was explaining to me that if something is easy to me, of course you don't want to change it, right? And of course you don't have a problem. But if something is hard, then you have to change it. And she's teaching me the ways into how to change it. So yes, Nayna, you love music. That brings you joy, but hoovering doesn't bring you joy. And when you do hoovering, it makes you want to die. So how are we going to tackle the things that make you want to die, which is the things that are hard? How are we going to tackle that? And she's teaching me that it's about listening to myself, being fair with myself. You don't want to do hoovering? Okay, how can we deal with this then if you don't want to do hoovering? Instead of like, you should do hoovering, stop complaining, hoovering is easy, like all of this like forceful negative talking. That's not what she's teaching. She's teaching me self-love, to love myself, and how can I sort this out for myself? How can I make this easier for myself? Can I afford £20 a week to pay a cleaner to come and hoover the house for me? Can I afford that? Is that something that I can like look into? Can I buy a new hoover that's like easier to use? Instead of cleaning the whole house in one day, can I just clean it over 3 days? Like, is there something that I could do for myself instead of forcing myself to endure the pain that I'm enduring? You don't need to do that. And I think that that's what we need to teach each other, that we need to self-love, to take care of ourselves. How can I make this work for me? How can I be peaceful? And how can I be happy? And if we have that encouraging person in our ears telling us that's how life should be, and that you have every right to do that, then you feel encouraged to do that. And if somebody wants to put you down and mock you or be angry at you for doing that, then you need to ignore them, because you have the right to do things that work for you and that make you happy and that make you feel peaceful. You have the right to do that. And so then I'm here to tell you that, like my therapist told me, that you have the right to be at peace and make things work for you. And you know, in turn, we're going to be teaching kindness. So then people don't want to park in front of your car because they are aware of how unfair that is. And they don't want to fire you for asking to be treated fairly, and they don't want to fire you for asking to be paid fairly, and you know, people are kind and they're doing the right thing. So we need to teach kindness in the process of standing up for ourselves and what we think is right and fair, which we're aware of, because anger tells you what is fair. If you get angry at something, it means that you're being treated unfairly to your vision, and you have a right to have a vision, to have a right to have my vision. I hate the hoover. You have a right to hate the hoover, Nayna, because it keeps pinching you. So you have a right to want things to be easier for you, and you have to stand up for that. So let's move on to the quote of the week. I not only have the right to stand up for myself, I have the responsibility. And that's what I've been saying all along. It's your responsibility to make sure that you're looked after, to make sure that you're treated fairly. It's your responsibility. But I'm here to support you, to remind you of that, to tell you that that's true. You have the right and you have the responsibility. And then once you take on that responsibility for yourself, you're doing it for people to come, for people around you to see you doing it. And if you're in a situation where you're being treated unfairly, then you have the opportunity to be a teacher, to be the person who does the movement. Okay, let's change this, guys. I hate that feeling. I'm telling you, I hate the feeling of anxiety, of being treated badly. When I was working for this company where the directors were monsters, I woke up in dread every single day, not knowing what the day was going to bring me. And because I had this hothead where I can't let people bully me, I knew that I was always going to be hated and feeling unsafe. So those months were just like so bad, like so bad. And then I ended up leaving the company because I couldn't take it anymore, because my mental health was like so bad because these people were monsters. And so I know how that feeling is of like having to stand up for yourself. But I bet you I taught them some lessons. The HR team taught them some lessons. The CEO of that company taught him some lessons, having to listen to me. So even though I suffered, and I suffered bad, we progressed. And I'm sorry that we are the guinea pigs. Like, we have to hurt to change the world. But we're here, and if we're not dead yet, we have to fight to stand up for things, to make things fair, to change the world, because we deserve a peaceful life. So be your own loving mum and take care of yourself, and in turn you're going to teach other people to do the same thing, and you're going to live in peace once you do it. And don't be scared to run far away from monsters. Yeah, you don't need to die with them, and you don't need to follow them and be their pets either. You fight them, and if there's 5 of them and there's only 1 of you, like, run away. Do not die, and do not become their pets either. Run away, get away from them, or go and get like a bunch of you guys to like face the monster and then come back. Which, that's what you call lawyers. Keep saying it. You deserve to be feeling light and happy and excited and peaceful, to be alive and to be awake and to get on with your job. Sorry, I don't know if you've been hearing this once in a while, this noise up there. And you deserve to have fun. And that company that I was with, that was not fun. Oh no. Nope. I can feel it now, that fear, the anxiety, the pain, the suffering. It was so bad. It was so bad. And all because they were hierarchy. They believed in hierarchy, like, I am above you, sit down. Like, they believe in that. And I suffered under them because of that. And they had that culture so strong, and the CEO was allowing it. And he was pretending not to allow it, but he was allowing it. And then I just left. So please, just leave if it's causing you harm, because you deserve to be at peace. So stick up for yourself, stand up for yourself, and know that you are entitled to do so. Okay? All right. let me end on a positive note here, because I've brought up so much anxiety from my past. Like, I just need to end on some like positive notes here, because I don't know what all of that is. I don't know why people make each other feel that way, and they're only humans. They're not hierarchy. They're not gods. I mean, if they are gods, so are all of us. So whatever, we're all the same, we're all humans. So the monsters are fake. They're not scary, they're pretending to be scary. They're just humans. And if you could pick up a knife and sorry, I know this is so exaggerated, right? But if you could pick up a knife and kill me, I can also pick up a knife and kill you. Like, we're all the same. You're all humans. We all have the same abilities here. I don't want to pick up a knife. That's maybe the difference between me and you, is that you want to pick up a knife. But okay, let's change all of this. Let's make you not want to pick up a knife. Let's change all of this. And we change by coming together, people like us, where we want peace, we want to be nice to people, we want everybody to be nice. Let's come together and let's change the world, teach the world, mold the world. So then we teach people, we try to understand why they are monsters, and we try to change the monsters and help the monsters and become light beings ourselves. Because now I barely have any anxiety towards anybody. Like, nobody can scare me anymore, and if they scare me, I'm leaving, because scaring me means you're abusing your power, and if I can't fight you abusing your power, I'm going to leave. So I don't feel fear anymore. And the closest to fear I feel is this anxiety of like my next door neighbor. Like, did I show you anger? But my therapist is helping me. Like, I had to show you anger because you're doing something that's very unkind. And anyways, peace, I believe, is available for a reason, and I think that it's the best feeling to lead with and to live in. So let's promote that. Let's make that a reality for all beings on the earth, and let's educate everybody about that, and let's understand why that hasn't happened so far, and let's change that, because through understanding you can change it. Alright, I will be back with another video. If you like my conversations, please follow me. I swear, a few videos back I promised never to do that, and here I am. Please follow me. I don't know why, but I do want followers. So like my video. Mate, do whatever you want, but it will make me happy if you like support me. Okay, that just sounds so annoying. Support me now. Oh, that sounds even worse. Okay, I'm gonna go now. See you later.